The Chicago Cubs drop a winnable game due to some nasty play and sloppy play from the team, especially its captain shortstop. Let's talk about it right after this. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mike Jones back again with another episode of Chicago Cubs Central. Before we get to today's talking about yesterday's game and get to today's show and get to talking about everything. First and foremost, last night during the game there was a scary sight in Pittsburgh. A man fell 21 feet from the Clemente wall at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Um, uh, I wish it wasn't, but the video is on X. Probably will be on YouTube also. I don't know if that fan was inebriated. I don't know if, there was some type of sickness going on there, or what have you. But that's a scary sight to watch a camera pan and all you see is a fan literally falling, like flailing in the sky, just rolling through the air, falling onto the field to play. Like that that's a scary moment for anybody to see or to watch or to view. That's a hard watch, hard view. um Prayers up for that fan. Sincerely from everybody here at Chicago Sports Central. Like I said, we're praying for that fan. We don't want anything to happen to anybody. And yeah, that was just a scary, surreal moment right there. Like I said, it kind of overshadowed the game. I mean, like I said, the Pirates did end up picking up a victory over the Chicago Cubs, but I think everything was pretty much somber after that. They had to literally bring a stretcher out, cart that fan out of the stadium, and he's rushed to the hospital there in Pittsburgh. So, prayers up to that fan. I hope that everything turns out okay. But yeah, we did have a baseball game too. A pretty competitive baseball game for the most part. In the first inning, the Pirates scored one run on the Key Brian Hayes single that scored Cruz after Cruz was able to get a double. Triolo hit a sacrifice fly to center with the bases loaded and only scored one off of that. Then Ian Happ in the fifth inning single to center, and that scored Swanson. And then Birdie went to second off of that. And then Tucker grounded out to first, and Birdie scored. Happ moved to third. Then Happ scored on a wild pitch. And that would be the gist of the Cubs scoring for the night. Really, really starting to see the offense go into a little bit of a funk. And it's unfortunate because the bases were loaded a couple times for the Chicago Cubs. And there was opportunity, especially when you look in the fifth inning, with the bases loaded, and nobody out. You expect, the top of your order, you expect guys to come through. One guy being Kyle Tucker. He did not come through for the Chicago Cubs today. And again, like I said, we're looking at having to pay Kyle Tucker a lot of money in order to keep him here past this season. And so when big spots like that come up, I don't know about you guys, but I expect Kyle Tucker to produce. Now, I understand it's baseball. I understand that it may not always happen that way. But I kind of expect him to produce. And I want him to produce for this team. And we need him to produce for this team. Kyle Tucker in today's game went 0 for 4. Seiya Suzuki right behind him went 0 for 4. Michael Busch behind him went 0 for 3. Justin Turner went 0 for 1 with a pinch hit and moved to first base. Carson Kelly only went 1 for 4. Nico Horner had a pretty decent game going 2 for 4. Pete Crow Armstrong went 0 for 4. Dansby Swanson went 3 for 4 in today's game and upgraded his batting average to 203. And then John Birdie went 1 for 3 in today's game. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Just unfortunate. Like I said, you would think that playing the Pittsburgh Pirates and going up against a pitcher with an ERA of like 6.23, you would think that the Chicago Cubs would be able to capitalize on that. But honestly, the Pittsburgh Pirates starting pitcher, uh, Malzinski, literally pitched a hell of a game. He went 4 innings. He allowed 6 hits, 2 earned runs, only 1 walk, 4 strikeouts on 65 pitches. He did his thing, man. Like I said, he had the Chicago Cubs guessing, and they could not come up with that big hit that really would put the game out of reach and whatnot. However, Andrew McCutchen did come up with the big hit, and he has been a Cub killer for a long time. The big double that he got in the bottom of the 7th inning that gave the Pirates the lead, and they shut the door. They held on to it after that, and the Chicago Cubs went quietly into the night. The problem with this is the hit that happened. I really believe that there was a couple of times in this game that the Chicago Cubs defense could have been better. Primarily one, Dansby Swanson. I thought there was a couple of times, a couple of plays that Dansby Swanson missed on defense. And I'm finding myself beginning to say that more and more. Now, granted, they love to gush about Dansby Swanson's defense when you watch the Marquee Network. Tonight Boog was one. I mean, I'm sorry, not Boog. JD was there to mention the fact that Dansby Swanson had not had an error since August of last year. And like I said, they love to gush about Dansby's, play on the field and what he does. But at the same time, I feel like the gimme plays or the smart plays, like keeping the ball in the infield and stuff like that, are moments that Dansby's missing now. And I don't understand why, but I definitely think doing stuff like that saves a run. And sure, the Pirates tie it up, but it doesn't end, they don't end up taking the lead. I mean, hell, we could still be watching a game right now, you know what I'm saying, from yesterday, like I said, but just making the smart plays and doing what needs to be done to win baseball games. And I feel like your offense is not always going to be able to give you 9, 10 runs. Your defense is going to have to come into play, and you're going to have guys make defensive plays. Now, Pico Armstrong almost made an amazing defensive play. Obviously, it got overturned with the sac fly. But like I said, that easily could have been if he would have been outright there, the Chicago Cubs would have won it, or at least that would have tied the game up and left it tied 3-3. But again, like I said, I'm looking at Dansby Swanson and I'm looking at his mannerisms. I'm looking at how he's going about his game, and I'm looking at the fact that he just doesn't look good right now. He just doesn't look good right now. I don't like his body language. I don't like, that he's been in this slump. Obviously, tonight, 3 for 4, hitting slump. Why? I mean, he's kind of coming out of that hitting slump a little bit. He did also score a run. And last night he hit a home run. But I don't know. I just don't like what I'm seeing from Dansby. And I felt like Tucker, Suzuki, and Pico Armstrong all hit into some bad luck. They got solid contact. It just stayed in the ballpark. But again, the Chicago Cubs are not going to be able to homer every single game and win every single game that way. Now, the problem comes in because the Chicago Cubs faced Paul Skenes today at 11:35. Paul Skenes is one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in baseball. Skenes is revered around the league already, and he's only in his sophomore campaign. Paul Skenes also has been giving up the home run ball a little bit more this season than in seasons past, or at least last season. But at the same time, the Chicago Cubs are going to have to come ready to play. It's going to be an uphill battle facing Paul Skenes because of just all the arsenal that he brings. His fastball hitting 100 on the gun. He also got the trick stuff too, the stuff that bends and moves and curves. It's going to be an uphill battle. The Chicago Cubs have a dogfight in front of them. That's why you would have liked the Chicago Cubs to win to win tonight's game yesterday's game, so that they could, if they did end up losing the Skenes, I mean, it is what it is. But now you have to go and you have to play against Paul Skenes, and you got to try to beat him. You got to try to beat the Pirates with one of the best pitchers in baseball pitching. So Chicago Cubs got their work cut out for them, guys. It is going to be a dog fight. If Kyle Tucker and the rest of those guys are slumping, it's not going to be a fun game or a pretty game for us Cub fans to watch today. But that game does start at 11:35 a.m. Because they are in Pittsburgh. So like I said, it is going to be an early game. And yeah, hopefully the Chicago Cubs can catch Paul Skenes slipping on a couple pitches and send some stuff out into the bleachers. But they got an uphill battle. They got an uphill battle to try to win this series. And like I said, and then from there, you're going to go up against the Milwaukee Brewers next on Friday. So like I said, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday of this week. So Cubs got their work cut out for them, man. Like I said, it's important that you cannot allow yourself to play down to the competition. You have to keep your foot on the pedal, and we have to make in-game adjustments. Greg House is going to have to make in-game adjustments, hitting adjustments, play the short ball. Like I said, guys are going to have to go for walks, not just swing at everything. We're going to have to manufacture some runs here so that the Chicago Cubs can win some games. I mean, it's kind of what we're going to have to do. It can't always be due to the home run ball. So, I mean, like I said, this is going to be an uphill battle against Paul Skenes, and then we got 3 against the Brewers, who always play us tough too. Again, we're in the division now, playing divisional games, and the Chicago Cubs are going to have to figure this out if they're going to have success and win this division. Remember, Cincinnati is not far behind. Cincinnati is 16-13 right now on the season. Cincinnati is not far behind the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs have lost the same amount of games. They've just played 2 more games than Cincinnati, so they're 18-13 right now. So the Chicago Cubs are going to have to figure out what they're doing offensively and keep the pressure on the rest of these teams and off of them. You don't want it to become close or whatnot or anything like that. You have to dominate the competition that you're supposed to beat. So I'm hoping the Chicago Cubs come out and dominate. Hopefully Colin Ray has himself another strong outing when he goes up against when he goes up against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So yeah, we'll just have to see. Paul Skenes has a record of 3-2 right now with the ERA of 2.39. Colin Ray has a record of 1 win, 0 losses, an ERA of 0.96. So yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. We will have to see what happens. But that's my time for today. Let me know what you guys think below in the comments. What do you think about Dansby slump? What do you think about the slumping offense? What do you think about Dansby's slumping defense? And do you think that, like I said, he can pick this up and figure this out? I know he does go through the highs and the lows. Even Craig Counsell acknowledged it. But yeah, we kind of really need the offense to pick it back up a little bit so that we can win some of these closer games. And defensively, we got to be sharp. We got to make plays. So that's my time for today. Appreciate each and every last one of you. Be sure to turn into the game today at 11:35 a.m. on the Marquee Network. Appreciate each and every last one of you. Until next time, go Cubs, go. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Also, you could call me and leave me a voicemail at 217-816-5498, or you can write me at cubsbaseball1992@gmail.com. Until next time, go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.